and pray that you can be useful long enough where you can live comfortably in your old deformed life. I know that sounds rough, but I mean, what else could I say? You know what I mean? See, we have to watch letting the European deform us, mentally deform us, culturally deform us, where we dance to our own degradation, sing songs to humiliate our mothers and fathers, our sisters and our brothers, and again dance to our own degradation. That's rough, ain't it? And again, as I tell my classes, I don't blame black people totally for this. You know who I blame for it.
That's right.
One of the things I mentioned, and I studied the Messenger a long time. One of the things that always sticks in my mind is a speech he made in Phoenix, Arizona in the 60s. And he said the white man is guilty of everything we are except righteous.
Now.
If the white man is too hard for y'all because it looks like a biological interpretation, let's say the system he set up. You can have that if you want. We're looking for new ways. This system of oppression is guilty for everything you are, except strong and righteous and beautiful. All the good you have, you've carved it out of the hard rock of the reality that he has dropped on you. He dropped a rock on you. You know what Malcolm said? You didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on you. We're not just between a rock and a hard place. A rock has landed on us. The heavy rock of the Holocaust of enslavement, where there is a system that seeks to not only deculturalize us, that is, strip us of our language, our way of relating and walking in the world, but they also sought to dehumanize us so that we don't even identify ourselves in fully human ways. We call ourselves the N-word.
Oh, it's horrible.
And try to make it like a homey word. What people would allow their sons and daughters to call themselves dogs and the sound of dogs? Bow wow. What kind of stuff is that? And nobody really challenges that in a serious and indignant way. Well, I think we should just talk with them. I mean, I can see their point. How can you, what, you can't see? Is that why you see things, because your eyes closed? You can see a lot of things. Well, I'm in this room. I can see what I want if I'm just making up things. But if I open my eyes, guess who I see out there? Black people. I can imagine you somebody else, you Martians, Venusians. You know, I can do anything. That doesn't mean it corresponds to reality. All thought ain't deep. And all conclusions ain't convincing.
Go tell it. Break it down.
Then how should we educate our children? In Africa, the education is on 4 fundamental levels. It is to provide the student first with knowledge of the world. Second, with knowledge of ourselves in the world. Third, with knowledge of how to effectively engage the world. And fifth, with knowledge of how to direct our lives toward good and expansive ends. Let's take each one of those in turn. When we first start out, we must know the world. You see, you can't say self-knowledge in the abstract. And this is one of my great struggles with nationalists. And again, I always have to remind you, I'm a nationalist. But the nationalists be saying self-knowledge. But you can't just have self-knowledge. You see, you've got to have self-knowledge in the world. They want self-knowledge hanging up there. And the first thing that the African teaches is not self, but the world. To teach you that you are a world being, that you're part of the environment in which you find yourself. And you must find your special identity in the world, not find the world after you find yourself, because then you put more emphasis on yourself than the world. Isn't that the problem with the white man? He'll kill the world for itself. Polluting water, plundering, depleting resources. He's not at peace in the world or with the world. So the first thing, and it's a natural progression, the first thing a child does, I mean, it's just like if you got a child 3 years old or 2 years, and you start saying, let me teach you self-knowledge. No, the child starts walking around what? Trying to examine the world. Is that real or what?
That's it.
And the child begins to learn who she is, who he is, by how he fits in the world. You see, that's one of the problems with some of the school system. Trying to teach the children, making the education student-focused rather than world-focused, so that the student fits in the world rather than trying to trump the world with his own identity or her own identity. I don't know if y'all follow me yet. Look at it now. See, we've got to teach black people to be world historical people. Malcolm said we must always ask ourselves, where do we fit in the scheme of things? That's the first thing you have to ask yourself. I will find my relationship. I will find my identity by my relationship with you. Do you know that? I can't just have an identity by myself. That's right. And Beatty says, I am because we are, and because we are, I am. What I would like to suggest is that even more clear is I am related and relate, therefore I am. Listen to this. Listen, I get my identity from my relationship. I am in the world, with the world. I'm a world being. Animals are world beings. Fish are world beings. Trees are world beings. I'm part of that. See, we always want to talk about we're natural and we like the environment, but hey, it's time to talk about it. It's time to actually talk about it. What the European has done is rooted us out of the world, put us in a ghetto, gave us a ghetto identity, and from that created a ghetto purpose and a ghetto direction. Singing and dancing to please an indifferent world, savaging oneself, and praising the white man even when they don't say it or don't know they're doing it. Now, I'm back to knowing in the world. I don't want to spend too long on this because I want to give you a little bit on reparation, but I need to tell you this. The first teaching you must teach your child is about the world and where the child fits in the world. Well, the adult must know that too. Is anybody here at this late date don't know you black? That's not your problem. That's why you always ask, if everybody know they black, why they keep acting white? Because we're concentrating on an identity in the world before without the world, before concentrating on where we fit in the world, and that would give us. You know, we couldn't even think of ourselves as African until we got out of ourselves as Negroes. We had to go in a larger world to find our larger identity. Do y'all see that? It's by going beyond our petty personal selves that we have expanded selves. And so what you have is a need for teaching knowledge first of the world. The Hosea says, study the nature and function of the earth. Study the nature and function of the heavens. Why do we